the DSLR versus mirrorless camera debate continues. Although most camera makers have shifted their focus to mirrorless cameras, DSLR cameras continue to be produced, sold, and purchased. There are significant differences on the outside in terms of body design and in terms of video capture inside both cameras. Personal preference, however, is an important thing to consider. In the end, the decision between mirrorless and DSLR will ultimately come down to your own choice. So, how do you choose between them? What factors should you consider when deciding between mirrorless and DSLR cameras? Which camera is right for you? Keep watching until the end of the video to find out, and welcome back to our channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. A lot of things have changed in the past year since mirrorless cameras first hit the market, but we have all the answers for you. Mirrorless cameras are currently the preferred style for the world's largest camera makers, including the most prominent of DSLRs like Canon and Nikon. The choice was obvious in the early stages. If you were a professional, you preferred to grab a DSLR. Enthusiasts and beginners who were more concerned with weight and durability would go for the mirrorless versions. In a way, mirrorless cameras have won the debate since there are currently only a few new DSLRs on the market. Whereas experienced photographers used to buy a DSLR, they're now more likely to buy a mirrorless camera, and manufacturers have jumped on board. In reality, neither Canon or Nikon have introduced a new DSLR in almost 2 years. However, the DSLR is far from dead. There are many other older models that are still available and worth exploring. Nikon and Canon may yet release new models. Second-hand models are also worth exploring, especially when prices fall. Don't be alarmed with the idea that they're not the most recent model. Things change slowly in the camera world, and so these cameras will still perform really well in most scenarios. They're definitely worth thinking over, especially when you're new on the scene. The roles have now been somewhat reversed. Mirrorless cameras currently feature the most advanced technology. If you're a beginner, you might prefer a less expensive DSLR because they're still the most affordable option to purchase a camera with a built-in viewfinder. There's more options than ever before for people in between beginners and professionals, which can make selecting the best camera technology a challenge. But don't worry, we're here to help. Let's start from the beginning and examine the major differences between these cameras. First, DSLR stands for Digital Single Lens Reflex, and it operates by light hitting a mirror at a 45-degree angle. That light passes through an optical viewfinder, allowing you to see exactly what the lens is looking at. There is no digital processing in the middle of this optical path. Once you're ready to snap a photo, that mirror slides out of the way, revealing the image sensor, and if you've used one before, you'll recognize the satisfying but somewhat loud noise it makes. On the other hand, mirrorless cameras, as you may already know, do not include a mirror. Light flows straight through the lens and onto the sensor to be processed in these cameras. Then, it's displayed on the camera's rear monitor or in the electronic viewfinder or EVF, which is essentially a tiny monitor. When you take a photo these days, the camera just records what is on the sensor during that time. DSLR cameras have the same technology as film cameras, which have been around for ages. Anyone who has been serious with photography in recent years will recognize them. Known firms like Canon and Nikon have been making them for years and have built on a depth of expertise. Although there aren't many new DSLRs on the market these days, there are still plenty to choose from. They feature excellent handling, high-quality image, and a particular advantage that doesn't appear to be going away very soon: an exceptionally long battery life. If you take away the mirror, mirrorless cameras actually provide multiple advantages as well as a few disadvantages. The biggest advantage is that they can be smaller and lighter than DSLR counterparts since they don't really need that big bulky mirror setup. Some camera functions such as autofocusing can be performed directly on the sensor, resulting in pretty fast focusing speeds. Frame rates aren't limited at all by physicality since there's no mirror to shift out of the way. Mirrorless cameras typically give at least 10 frames per second, with some high-end versions offering 20 or 30 frames per second at full resolution with continuous autofocus between shots. Mirrorless cameras featured smaller sensors in the beginning than DSLRs. Full frames are presently the most desired sensor size in these models, with Sony, Nikon, Canon, and Panasonic all producing them. Both mirrorless and DSLR cameras use the APS-C sensor size. All of this implies that there is no massive difference in image quality between DSLRs and mirrorless cameras regardless of which you choose. Enjoying this video so far? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Early mirrorless cameras' electronic viewfinders were a bit disappointing. They were slow and had low resolution. However, technology has reached a point where many photographers now enjoy the ultra-high resolution viewfinders found in high-end mirrorless cameras today. They provide a more accurate reflection of your final image, plus the ability to even see a preview of your image once you've shot it. All of this makes it look as if mirrorless is the clear winner, and while the reality that there have been hardly any new DSLRs launched in the last year might seem to support that, there are some other perks to the older technology. DSLRs are solid, affordable cameras with excellent handling and image quality. Mirrorless cameras are technologically advanced, usually smaller and lighter, and unquestionably the way of the future. It used to be more difficult to provide a clear answer in the DSLR versus mirrorless camera debate. However, making a pitch for the DSLR is becoming incredibly hard. With even more mirrorless cameras hitting the market and hardly any new DSLRs, it's becoming clear which direction the future is heading. In a lot of circumstances, mirrorless cameras provide an edge. They are often smaller and lighter than DSLR counterparts, with a combination of smaller and lighter lenses. They offer a full contemporary feature set, including advanced autofocus tracking performance, 4K video recording, and in-body image stabilization, which DSLRs are beginning to slip behind. However, there's definitely still a lot to be said for DSLRs, and this old dog has some life left in him. Since they're older and don't have electronic viewfinders, they're generally less expensive than mirrorless cameras, and you can find some incredible deals. You may not get the latest technology as a result of the trade-off, but not all photographers need it. DSLRs additionally provide you with a larger lens selection. Mirrorless cameras still fall behind DSLRs in terms of battery life. Although it is improving, still nothing matches the capabilities of a DSLR. Both high-end DSLRs and high-end mirrorless cameras are convenient to use, but it's debatable that less expensive mirrorless cameras aren't as enjoyable to use as less expensive DSLRs. However, this is usually due to personal and shooting preferences. There's less of a choice between optical and electronic viewfinders these days, with the most recent versions being so great that many people seem to prefer them. If you've already bought a DSLR, or if you have a burning desire for their shooting style, no worries, they still have some life left in them. We won't entirely dismiss them yet, although it seems hard to believe that we'll see any more releases from them. Nikon has already stated this, as well as other manufacturers such as Canon are expected to follow. Overall, it's pretty safe to assume that if you're looking for your first real camera, mirrorless is the way to go right now. It's true that every manufacturer will work considerably harder on this than on DSLRs, which will be sent to the pages of history within the next couple of years. In the end, while mirrorless cameras apparently outperform DSLRs, user experience is crucial when choosing a camera. DSLRs have a weight and stability that certain photographers appreciate, and for other photographers, the ability to look straight through the lens, particularly in comparison to some entry-level mirrorless cameras that lack an electronic viewfinder, may be the deciding factor. You should test out every type of camera before buying one to find the right camera for you. Which is better for you, DSLR or mirrorless camera? Please let us know in the comments section below. And if you loved the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching!